is 2 Minutes About Time with Luke Allen and Robert E.G. Black, the podcast that takes a look at the film About Time 2 minutes at a time. I am Richard Curtis, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you don't, well, you can just travel back in time 2 minutes and listen to something else.
I'm one of your hosts, Luke Allen. I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Robert E.G. Black.
Hello.
And our special guest for this week, Reece Ord.
Hello. It's me.
So today, we're looking at minutes 63 and 64 of About Time, and we're actually looking at one of the most pivotal scenes in the entire film, so no pressure, Reece. But we gotta be good here. Professional and prepared. Which is why I literally have not prepared anything for this episode. Whoops.
Yeah.
I normally do some prep, and I just kind of forgot.
Well, weirdly, especially minute 63, there's nothing interesting about it out of context. It's just very simple conversation. It's important for the plot, but the minute itself is not that interesting. So, there's not a lot of notes. Even, I obsess. I don't have that many notes.
Yeah, I think I don't know, I think it's quite interesting, it just shows the sort of like, their relationship, I guess.
But yeah.
How they talk to each other, it just, shows you that's what she's, that's their relationship, that's how they, I guess, communicate, the humour, sarcasm kind of thing, do you know what I mean? Like
yes,
when she's talking about, the music and you're down on one knee, important question kind of thing. I think it's just to show their relationship, I guess. Well, I guess it is. Yeah, but do you know what I mean? So I think it's quite important to show us that's their relationship. We see it like how they sort of talk and communicate earlier on in the film, but I think this just shows that's why he thinks it's right, I guess, the right thing to do.
Yeah, and actually, there's a really good point here. Just because while you were talking in terms of my prep, I had the commentary on with the subtitles on so I could just, read up preparing over this minute. And it is actually worth saying that there's a scene pretty much identical to this in Time Traveler's Wife. He proposes to her while she's in bed.
Huh.
And apparently Rachel McAdams warned Richard Curtis after she saw the trailer. She was like, I just want you to know before the film gets released that this is exactly what happens in Time Traveler's Wife. I gotta say, I literally only saw it for the first time about 2 days ago. Beautiful film. So while I was watching Time Traveler's Wife, I was like, this is About Time in this one scene. The rest of it, it's a lot more serious about time travel than About Time is, because it's not a comedy. It's like a sci-fi drama. It feels like, I haven't seen The Notebook either, to be honest, but it feels like The Notebook from what I know of it in some points. And then like The Terminator in other points. It's quite a...
The Notebook's actually pretty good. I used to be one of them people that are like, The Notebook, romance films. I was sort of one of them, but I watched it and it's actually pretty good. I enjoyed it.
It's literally on my desk right next to my Blu-ray player as we speak. Just staring at me watch me at some point. Because I dragged it from my parents' DVD cupboard about 2 weeks ago. And I was like, I've got to watch it because Rachel McAdams is kind of important in this film, so it's probably worth watching it. And then I just keep forgetting. But in all fairness, I've also been meaning to watch Whitnell and I and Amelie, and they're also both waiting for me to watch them. So I think at some point this week I just need to sit down and watch.
I didn't actually realise that it was her in The Notebook.
And it was the same for me with Mean Girls. She's so different in Mean Girls that I think I genuinely watched Mean Girls 2 or 3 times before I was like, oh heck, it's Rachel McAdams.
Yeah, it's like you don't realise, again, it's like I'm not, I used to not be great with names. I'm still not amazing with names, but, knowing actors, actresses.
I'm
names,
worse with character names.
So I'm like, character name, I'm okay at if I've watched the film more than twice. Or with TV shows, I'm pretty good with, names and that, obviously, because with TV shows, you're 2 hours into a TV show, that's the film ending.
I've genuinely binged a season of a TV show and still not known all the main characters' names. I've been awful.
Is that Game of Thrones?
No.
Just a guess.
I can't think of a specific example, but it's happened a couple of times. And there is no excuse for it. It's just...
Game of Thrones, I had a little bit of trouble getting the names. I think by season 4, I finally figured out who Cersei was. I was like, okay, no, which one's Cersei? Is it her? And who was I calling? It was like another character, and I was like, is that one Cersei? It took me to about season 4 to get all the names. Like,
I think the important thing is, can films and TV shows stop casting several people that look really similar? That's
Yes.
Because when you don't really know character names, like early on in the show, it's like, is that the guy from earlier? Is it not? I don't know. There's several brown-haired guys with beards in this film. Like,
characters that look the same, that's the worst. I think that's what makes it harder to remember the names when people look... I'm trying to think of an example, but I honestly can't think of anything at the moment.
Okay, well, anyway, we are... Actually, we're not as long into this episode as I thought we were, but it's probably a good time to go into minute 63. There's not that much dialogue in this minute, so I'm probably just going to read it out. It continues with Mary saying, music, guy with important question. Are you on your knees? On his knees? Were you so bored in the play that you decided to ask me to marry you afterwards? And Tim said, something like that. Yeah, exactly like that. Oh, sorry, exactly that. In fact, will you marry me? Any thoughts on the answer? Yes, no, get out of my life, loser. They're all possible. And she says, I think I'll go for yes. It's such a lovely, sweet thing, because I do love how casual they are about it. Like, you know, so many films go for the big, oh my goodness, the ring, the da-da-da. I mean, you don't even have the ring at this point, but it's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe da-da-da. And you have this whole thing and the rise in music, and it's such a big monumental moment, whereas this is so sweet and personal that it makes it nicer, and I think possibly my favourite film proposal.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, actually.
Mostly because on the top of my head I can't think of any specific film proposals. I can't even remember the film The Proposal, which I'm sure I've seen.
Can't remember the proposal in the film called The Proposal. I do agree with you with like how like personal it is, and I think that does make it better. But I think like the way she she doesn't hesitate, but like you know the I'll go with yes, that bit. I'll go with the first one. I think that adds to that like whole how personal it is, and you know, do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, the pauses are sweet. Like he asks, and then she takes 5 seconds. And then he's like, any thoughts on the answer?
Like, you know, pretending to like, think about it, you know, even though we obviously know.
Right.
That's what I think, like, you know, she says, like, she thanks him later on about not, making it a public thing. I think, like, with the public ones, people are different, obviously, but with this, like, she's quite to herself. Like, she stays in bed all day. She likes to be to herself. She even says that she doesn't like people. Again, I think that's the next minute, so
that's next minute,
ahead.
Unless there's much on visuals, we can go straight into 64.
No, straight. Get to it. One of my favorite lines is coming.
Ooh, let's go.
Robert, I think I'm going to quote a show that you're not going to know I'm quoting, but hopefully if Reece was brought up with the same kids' TV as me, he'll get it. When you hear me say that quote, wave or cheer.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, yeah.
We'll get that.
Wave or cheer.
Something special. Yeah. You got my quote.
Yeah, I got your quote.
Good. Okay, so I'm just going to read the dialogue, but genuinely, Robert, I think when I say your favourite line, give me a cheer. Thank you for asking me. And thank you for not going for one of those melodramatic proposals with lots of people around. I hate other people.
Oh.
Me too. Oh, that's your cheer. Okay.
I hate other people.
It's I hate other people, and the way she says it too, because it's both genuine and like cutely sarcastic at the same time.
See, that's quite relatable as well.
And I'm like, yeah, I feel that. Other people suck. Yeah.
My favourite line from this is what you're about to get up to, when she's like, she's tired. She's not, you know that bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
she's telling them to leave. She's tired.
I think my favourite part is the way that Rory looks at that moment.
Yeah. So I watched the clip when you sent me them. And then I watched the film, I was like, oh, it's Rory. I didn't realise that was Rory, honestly. When I watched the whole film, I'm like, it's Rory. But yeah, the way he looks at him, it's
Incidentally, one thing which we're one thing, because you were talking... Oh, sorry. Because we were talking earlier about the whole what's erased and what's not. What we're hoping to do before this whole show is finished is to edit together a version of About Time that's only the things that happened and not like everything he's erased.
Okay, that would be interesting. So
I'm excited about it, to be honest.
When he goes to the museum... Oh no, because he goes to the party, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say when he goes to the museum, that would be interesting to see. If we don't see them first meeting though, and it just goes to him at the museum acting weird, then it's sort of like showing that to someone, that their reaction would probably be similar to them. Do you know what I mean?
So I'll carry on with the line. I hate other people, me too. Yeah, I'm just gonna turn off the radio. She says, okay, good luck. Good idea, sorry, that makes more sense. Good luck? What was I thinking there? Right. So Tim shushes the band, and it is the band that was performing at the theatre, isn't it?
Yeah, from the lobby.
From the lobby, yeah. I wanted it to have been the band from the montage.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
But I do like how Rory's there.
Yeah, with champagne.
It's kind of weird because, I guess he used his time. Did he go back in time to get the band booked and all of that? Because I feel like he couldn't just be like, come with me.
No, he probably did it. He probably went back to right after the play and paid him something to come with him.
So that goes back to the whole, did he actually go on the date with...
Well, no,
maybe he
also...
because Rory's with him now.
Rory's with him, and I didn't notice it until I was doing notes now. He's got those paintings that Rory pointed to. They were outside the theater. They're all over the room. So that takes time.
Yeah, but as I was saying earlier, whether, when I said, did he wait until the day or something, when I was saying it was a bit lighter. Right. Possibly, he went back, erased that whole thing, and then waited until a bit later where she slept more, the whole don't be so selfish, I'm sleeping. So he waited until later to propose and had time to go.
And that's the anxious thing, really. He can go back in time, but he can't go forward. So he could literally just be sitting there waiting hours to propose to the one he loves. Like, I can't imagine how tense that must be.
That's what I was a little bit confused about at first when he said that you can't go into the future. So I thought that when he went back in time, obviously he erased everything he did. But did that mean he had to wait? Does that mean he would have to wait and live through that time again to get back to that time?
He can come back to the present.
But yeah,
because he can remember the present.
Yeah, that was.
But he can't go to the future because he hasn't been there yet.
Thingied when Kit Kat went with him. That was sort of confirmed when Kit Kat went and went, back forward, and she remembered everything.
It's weird. The Kit Kat going with him makes quite a weird thing, and it confuses it a little more. I think that the main confirmation for me of that was when he's with his dad at the end on the beach, and it's like he didn't just have to relive through 20 years of his life.
Yeah, I was a bit like every time he did something, would he have to live back through it?
Well, no, and if he lived that whole time again, there'd be even more chances of screwing things up.
Oh yeah, because if he knows what he has to do, that could make things worse.
Yeah. What's stopping them from living forever? Because they could have just stayed in that time and lived their life again. And they could just keep, because at first I wasn't sure if he went back in time, whether they would de-age. So say if...
Yeah, he goes back into his younger self.
If Tim is really old, he's 80, but then he's okay, I don't want to die yet. Could he go back in time?
Yeah.
To before his child, not before,
and
but after his child was born and just relive it again? And just keep doing that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I thought about when I was
And that's what we've said about holidays as well. It's they could pay for one really nice holiday, and then every year just decide, you know what, let's go back to that holiday.
Yeah. Yeah, just let's go back and do things differently. But if anything big happened on that holiday, that made them get to where they were then.
Right.
Maybe they wouldn't be able to,
Well, that's assuming he tells Mary what's going on, or she goes with him every time, because then they could... Yeah. It doesn't matter what happened before, because they'll remember both versions.
Yeah. So Tim goes off and turns off the radio, and she said, Mary, okay, good idea. Thanks, guys. Sorry, she's a bit tired. And I do love Rory's just, but we really appreciate it. Can you go?
Yeah, that was, I like that bit. That was maybe my favourite line from that scene. It's just his facial expressions as well, and like his whispering and he's doing like go. I keep forgetting I'm not on camera, so you can't see what I'm doing, but how he's sort of quite.
From the creaking of the chair, I could hear that you were doing something.
Yeah, you can hear me like pointing quite violently. Go. I don't know. I can't really explain it.
I think that's one of the only moments in your life where you can get away with being like that to people, where he can quite simply just be like, "All right, we don't need you in the end. Can you leave?" Like there aren't many occasions where you can be like that, but I think at your proposal, you can probably get away with it.
Yeah, rather than having to go back in time.
I mean, if we got
that's what I thought. Like, did he always go back when he had a problem, or like and fix it? Because it seemed like so perfect. Do you know what I mean? Like everything seemed too perfect. So it was like, did he like whenever he had a problem at all? Did he go back and change it? Can you hear my dog?
A little bit.
Or is it all right?
It should be fine.
All right. Okay.
Then, unless you've got any other comments, we go to outside the parents' house in Cornwall, which is. Okay, is that I just love this house.
That, sorry?
It's just
65, is it? 64. Sorry, we're on the same minute.
Yeah.
Sorry, I sort of got a bit ahead of.
So we've talked before about this house and how this house is a rental house in Cornwall. Unfortunately, it's about $2,000 for the weekend. But yeah, I'm still trying to figure out that if I can persuade my family to have us like stay in Cornwall, whether I could just contact them and be like, "Is there any chance we could just look around for a couple of hours?" They might be nice. Who knows? If I say I'm one of the hosts of 2 Minutes About Time,
Yeah. Can I have a look? Yeah, that would.
Even though a lot of the rooms are quite different according to the photos, like they've dressed them quite a lot. Like the dad's study is actually the main dining room and things like that.
Oh, right. That's pretty cool. That's just like pretty cool on how you can change like the geography of everything, isn't it? Like when we were at Hood.
Yeah.
And we were actually talking about that, like with the forest and that.
Yeah, that you could get away with like shooting at any part in the forest.
Yeah.
And people wouldn't know that part's next to that part. Yeah.
Like then people wouldn't know that bit was shot about a mile away from the bit that's like literally a second. Do you know what I mean? So it's sort of like you wouldn't be able to tell.
I'm genuinely so excited for the next day on Hood. It was amazing. Like, I mean, I don't know about you, but that was like my first experience on any film to that scale.
Yes.
Like, I'd made my own films, and then there was this. And it was like...
I've lost my set virginity.
So Mary is seeing Cornwall for the first time. We have mutters of their conversation. Yeah, and Mary says, "Wow, that's so beautiful." I made that come across a lot more sarcastic than her line has.
Is it this bit where he says about not asking, like, if offered tea, say no?
Yep.
Or was that the next bit?
No, that's not.
Well,
I thought that bit was...
Well, I'll just read the whole exchange because it's quite quick. It's just, I don't think we'd be staying in the same room somehow. Oh, really? Oh, if they offer you tea, just say no. No? And yeah, that's where this minute ends.
And then that gets on Friday's episode, which I was about to mention.
Yeah, but it is a beautiful exchange. The whole if they ask for tea, just say no. It's a nice thing. Yeah.
It also shows the relationship, doesn't it, between his parents, I guess. Like in a way, when he's talking about like he knows his parents that well. If you're offered tea, say no, which then links onto the next minute.
So, Reece, where can our listeners find you on social media?
Ooh, this again. Facebook, it's Reece Ord. Instagram, it's Reece Ord. No, it's not. It's Reece.0_02. And then on Twitter, it's @Ord_Reece. And all of them are a profile picture of some weird looking kid in a suit sticking his tongue out slightly. And yeah, I'm gonna decide to probably remove that photo. But yes, because it's quite embarrassing. He also has glasses on. Talking about myself in third person again, but yeah, they're my social medias. I'll do YouTube on Friday.
And Robert, where can they find you?
Lemmingdrops.com, or Robert E.G. Black on social media.
Listeners can find me on Twitter at the strange of @llama_bottle0. They can find me on Facebook at Luke Allen Film. They can find me on Instagram at the Ginger Luke. All podcasts, short films, radio appearances, newspaper articles, anything I'm remotely involved in is likely to be at lukeallen.co.uk. And this podcast is on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at 2 Minutes About Time, and they can join our Facebook group to talk all things about time, anything to do with our tangents, anything to do with the show. Or if you just want to chat, pop into the cupboard for a chat. And so we'll end this episode with another one of these interesting goodbyes. See you in another life, brother.
See you in another life, brother.
Indeed. I've never seen brother spelt like that.
Oh, is it B-R-U-V-A or something? Brother.
No, it's just B-R-U-T-H-A, but...
Oh. Yeah.
Sorry, B-R-O-T-H-A. The 2 Minutes About Time theme is performed by Ethan O'Mahony and is a cover of the About Time theme, originally composed by Nick Laird-Close. 2 Minutes About Time is a production of Lemming Drop Studios in association with Bottle O Productions.
Goodbye, brother.